there, everybody. This is Kristin from Teaching Balance, and I am here with you with this week's mindfulness meditation practice. And this is our final week of the month of joy and play, and we've explored it from a few different angles. And this week, because we haven't really talked about it as explicitly as I think it should be talked about, I wanted to talk a little bit about laughter. Now, as you've seen in my videos, I definitely am a laugher in general. I definitely crack myself up like right now. And so laughter, I think, is just so important. You've heard all the sort of, phrases or whatever the sayings, laughter is the best medicine. But it really, really is. You've heard me talk about, I think in various past months, the idea of various strategies to close the stress cycle. So when you're stressed, there are things that you can do to help kind of like release that stress and close the stress cycle. And one of them is laughter. So I have obviously a very high regard for it. It's something I really try to invite into my own life with as much frequency as possible. Thankfully, I am married to someone who's very funny. So if for some reason you feel like that's not necessarily as much of a part of your life as you would like it to be, or it's always nice to just invite in more, I just wanted to offer you some thoughts about how you might go about that. Now, I know we're still in summer break, but school is coming, back to school is coming, and I just want to acknowledge that, and when we get to the next month and all the things around that, I'll be talking about ways to support yourself as you transition back into school and work and all of those things. And I bring it up not to get you all, charged up about it, but I bring it up because I think that with that, there's, of course, unless you're fully remote, which some of you may be, there's a commute typically where you have to get to school. And that's one of the things that came up for me when I thought about, as we're starting to think about going back to school, is ways that you can make choices that are very supportive to you. And so, here's where I'm going with this. On your way to school, certainly you can listen to music, of course. And some people love listening to audiobooks, podcasts, and of course the news. And what I would love for you to just kind of think about in the big picture scheme of things is, are there ways for you to invite in joy and specifically laughter when you're on your commute? Not only preparing you for your workday, but even once the workday is done and you're transitioning into your home life and sort of letting the workday go. So what are some things that you can listen to on your drive that might be a little bit more humorous? And so that really is something I want to put out there and offer to you. I'm a very huge fan of audiobooks. I like podcasts too. I just think there's something to be said for an audiobook and the fact that it's constructed so thoughtfully regarding having a structure and all of that sort of thing. And since we're talking about laughter, I wanted to reference the possibility of listening to audiobooks that are specifically written by and are about things that are humorous, written by humorous people, and typically written in a way that's funny. And I love memoirs written by comedians. I just think that they are so not only informative and interesting, it's not just listening to somebody's act or stand-up routine, but you're hearing about their lives, the challenges that they faced, and of course there's always this quality of humor that's infused through the whole thing. So that is really the one thing I wanted to emphasize. So if, for example, you're driving to work and you're listening to the news and it's getting you down, because that's what it often does, just having an audiobook that you can switch to, or anything else that's going to bring a smile to your face and make you laugh, is something that I think has a lot of value. And of course, if you have that like on your phone or device or whatever it might be, you can do that, at any point in your day when you're just, hanging out, when you're exercising, all of those sorts of things. Now, of course, listening is not the only way to go about inviting in laughter in your life. You can also watch funny movies, watch stand up. I mean, there's just so much that's available that you can watch as well. I think you get the idea. My invitation to you this week is just to think about how you can invite in with intention more laughter for yourself, whether it's something you're watching or listening to, and allowing that to occupy as much space or perhaps even more space than the other types of media that you consume that might be, maybe a little scary, or it might be actually very real and intense and serious, and finding some balance between those two things in whatever way feels most supportive to you. So, in the spirit of doing things that are supportive, let's go ahead and do our 10-minute meditation practice. I don't think I'm going to try to sneak any laughing in on this. It doesn't quite jive for me. But let's go ahead and get started. Although, I will say this real quick, sorry, because this just popped into my head. I have listened to meditations and had meditation teachers that talk about inviting in a smile from time to time. So I'm going to play with that, actually, I think, but it's very low pressure. If you're like, this is my chance to not feel obligated to smile, then don't. That's okay. I get it. Sometimes we feel like we have to be on and always looking cheerful and all of that sort of thing. So if you're not feeling the smile, that's okay. But otherwise, let's go ahead and close our eyes. Taking those deeper breaths. And I'm finding I'm just having this desire to stretch out my neck a little bit. I don't often do this, but I don't know. Today I'm kind of feeling that. Oh, I don't know if you heard that crack. And then rolling my shoulders back and opening up the chest, which is also helpful. Giving us a little more space for those deeper, longer, slower breaths. And knowing you can always invite in those deeper breaths at any time. Allowing those deep breaths to activate your body's relaxation response, downregulate your nervous system if you're feeling stressed. It's a win-win when it comes to deeper breathing. If you want to play with this idea of allowing a gentle smile through some or all of your practice, allowing yourself to do that, like I said, completely optional if you're not feeling it. And as we continue to settle in, have our awareness drop into our bodies, below the chin, a little less in our heads. Allowing yourself just to choose what you'd like to rest your attention on. It might be the body or the breath and sensations associated with the breath. And it might be sounds. this moment, I'm finding sound seems easiest for me to rest my attention on. There's a lot of planes flying overhead outside. And then once they're beyond my range of hearing, really just noticing the quality of silence, which is rarely truly silent. There might be a clock ticking. For me, I'm noticing rather loud ringing in my ears right now. And as with any anchor, resisting any temptation to get into the story around why that certain sensation is as it is, and instead having that scientist-like objectivity, and just noticing from moment to moment what is observable. Letting go of any assessment or judgment, like I like this sound or I don't like that sound. That can be applied to sensations as well. And if you're interested in playing with this element of bringing the smile into your practice right now, if you found that it slipped away, just allowing yourself to bring it back, the quality of just peaceful gentleness. Checking in to see where the attention is in this moment. If it's wandered into thought, which of course happens, just noticing, and with a smile, if you care to, just bringing your attention back to your anchor, whether it's the body or the breath or sounds, or even open awareness. For the final minute or so of our practice in this session, just allowing yourself to play with knowing we're almost done and either loosening your effort or lightening it. And then something we talk about is also perhaps the reverse, which is strengthening your attention and seeing if you can hold your awareness in the present moment until the final bell. And that is 10 minutes. So just a note about that part at the end, because I tried to not talk too much since it was only a minute. But again, what I like to do is either loosen my focus and sort of just sit a little bit, trying a little less hard, resting a little more deeply, I guess you could say. And then the other thing that's a fun flip on that is to really concentrate even harder if that's interesting to you. And really just try to keep that attention tethered to your breath or your body or sounds or whatever it might be. Like hanging on even a little bit with a little more zeal. I just think it's good to mess around with that, because what I think it does is it allows you to be a little bit more familiar with how that can vary, and to be able to sort of titrate, if you will, what feels most supportive to you in any given session that you might be meditating in. So as always, thank you so much for taking this time for yourself, and thank you for allowing me to accompany you on this journey. And I will see you next week. Take care. Bye.